Have you ever found yourself replaying a conversation in your head for hours, feeling angry, irritated, or even insulted by something someone said or did? You try to move on, but your mind keeps going back, as if it refuses to let go. It's exhausting, right? The truth is, most people spend years letting other people control their emotions without even realizing it. But what if you could stop that completely? What if no one could ever make you angry, annoyed, or frustrated again? In this video, I'm going to show you how to master your emotions in a way that nothing and no one can steal your peace. It's not about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about becoming so emotionally free that your calm can't be shaken. Let's dive in. Idea 1. Your reaction is a choice. Here's the truth that almost no one teaches us. Your anger doesn't come from what happens to you. It comes from how you interpret what happens. Two people can live the exact same situation, and one stays calm while the other explodes. The difference isn't the event, it's the meaning each one gives to it. Psychiatrist Viktor Frankl, who survived the horrors of a concentration camp, once said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. That space is where your peace lives." Every time someone says something hurtful or unfair, you have that moment, that little gap, where you can decide who's in control, your emotions or your awareness. You can choose to react impulsively, letting the situation decide your mood, or you can take a breath, step back, and respond with clarity. That single moment of awareness is what separates emotional chaos from emotional freedom. So the next time someone pushes your buttons, remember this. They're not controlling you. You're choosing how to respond. That's real power. It's not about suppressing anger, it's about mastering it. Because emotional mastery isn't coldness, it's freedom. Idea 2. Stop expecting people to be like you. One of the biggest reasons we get angry or disappointed is because we expect people to think and act like we do. We assume that if we'd never say something hurtful, others wouldn't either. Or that if we care deeply, others should care the same way. But that's not how the world works, and that expectation is the root of so much frustration. People see life through their own filters, their upbringing, their insecurities, their pain, their level of awareness. When you stop expecting people to be like you stop taking their behavior personally. You begin to understand that their actions aren't a reflection of your worth. They're a reflection of their own inner world. Maybe that person was rude because they're unhappy. Maybe they ignored you because they're distracted or overwhelmed. It's rarely about you. Freedom begins when you stop personalizing everything. The moment you accept that people are who they are, not who you want them to be, you gain peace. You can't control who they are, but you can always control how much power you give them over your emotions. Idea 3. You don't always have to be right. Sometimes we get caught in this endless need to prove a point, to win an argument, to make someone admit we were right. It feels good for a second, but what it really does is drain your peace. The more you fight to be right, the more you feed your ego, and the less space you leave for calm and connection. The truth is, needing to be right is often just fear disguised as pride, the fear of being misunderstood, disrespected, or unseen. But here's something powerful to remember. Peace and ego can't coexist. You can have one or the other, but not both. Choosing peace doesn't mean you're weak, it means you're wise enough to know that not every battle deserves your energy. When you walk away from a pointless argument, you're not losing, you're preserving your calm. You're saying, I value my inner peace more than I value winning. So next time you feel that urge to defend every detail, pause. Ask yourself, do I want to be right or do I want to be free? Because real strength isn't in proving your point, it's in keeping your peace. Idea 4. Your self-worth comes from within. Most people spend their entire lives chasing validation, trying to prove they're good enough, smart enough, or lovable enough through other people's opinions. But the moment you let someone else define your worth, you hand them the keys to your peace. Your value doesn't increase when someone praises you, and it doesn't decrease when someone criticizes you. It simply is. Real self-worth is an inside job. It comes from integrity, from knowing that you're living in alignment with your values, doing your best, and growing at your own pace. When you build your sense of worth from within, you become untouchable. People can misunderstand you, judge you, or even reject you, but it no longer breaks you because you've learned to validate yourself. And here's the shift. External approval feels nice, but internal approval feels like freedom. You stop needing to perform for love or prove your value through achievement. You simply know who you are, and that quiet confidence becomes your anchor. So instead of asking, "Do they like me?" start asking, "Do I respect who I'm becoming?" That's where real peace begins. Idea 5. Set boundaries without guilt. Being kind doesn't mean being endlessly available. Somewhere along the way, many of us confused goodness with self-sacrifice, thinking that saying yes all the time makes us more loving or generous. But in truth, constantly saying yes when you mean no only leads to resentment, burnout, and emotional exhaustion. Boundaries aren't barriers that push people away, they're bridges that protect healthy connection. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect, not rejection. When you tell someone, "I can't right now," or "that doesn't work for me," you're not being selfish, you're being honest. And honesty is what keeps relationships real. The people who truly care about you will understand your limits. The ones who don't were never valuing you. They were valuing your compliance. So stop apologizing for needing space, for protecting your time, or for prioritizing your peace. You can't pour from an empty cup. When you honor your own limits, you show others how to honor you too. Remember, saying no to others can often mean saying yes to your own well-being. And there's nothing guilty about that. Idea 6. Silence is power. Not everything deserves your reaction. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Silence can speak louder than any argument, and it often leaves people more unsettled than words ever could. When you choose silence, you're not giving up. You're taking control. You're refusing to let someone else pull you into their storm. Neuroscience shows that when you pause instead of reacting impulsively, you activate the part of your brain responsible for wisdom, patience, and decision-making. That pause is your power. It's the moment where you rise above the chaos instead of feeding it. So next time someone tries to provoke you, breathe. Don't react. Let your calm be the loudest response in the room. Because silence isn't weakness, it's emotional mastery in action. Idea 7. Gratitude rewires the mind. Gratitude is one of the most underrated forms of emotional strength. It doesn't mean pretending that everything's perfect. It means choosing to focus on what's working instead of what's missing. When you practice gratitude, you shift your brain's attention away from frustration and towards appreciation. It's not just a spiritual idea. Science backs it up. Studies show that regular gratitude practice literally rewires your brain, reducing stress and increasing overall happiness. When you wake up and focus on what you have, your health, your progress, the people who truly care, your energy changes. You stop seeing life as something that's happening to you and start seeing it as something that's happening for you. Even in difficult moments, gratitude gives you perspective. It helps you see lessons where you once saw problems. So whenever you catch yourself spiraling into irritation or negativity, pause and name 3 things you're grateful for. Right there, in that moment. It's simple, but it's powerful. Gratitude doesn't just change your mood, it changes your mind. Idea 8. Learn from criticism, not wounds. Criticism can sting, but not every criticism is an attack. Sometimes it's just feedback wrapped in bad delivery. When you take everything personally, you give other people the power to wound you. But when you listen with curiosity instead of defensiveness, you take back that power. The truth is, criticism only hurts when it hits an insecurity you haven't healed yet. So instead of reacting with anger, ask yourself, is there something useful here? If there is, take it. If not, let it go. People who grow fast don't fear criticism. They filter it. They separate truth from projection. They understand that everyone speaks from their own level of awareness, and sometimes Harsh words say more about the speaker than the listener. So don't shut down when someone points something out. Use it as fuel. Learn from it. Let it polish you instead of poison you. Because when you can hear criticism without losing your peace, you've reached a level of emotional strength that most people never find. Idea 9. The art of letting go. Holding on to anger is like carrying a burning coal in your hand, hoping it hurts someone else. But you're the one getting burned. Resentment feels like control, but in reality, it's a trap that keeps you emotionally tied to the very thing that hurt you. Letting go doesn't mean you're saying what happened was okay. It means you're choosing your peace over your pain. It's releasing the weight of what you can't change so you can finally breathe again. Forgiveness is freedom, not for them, but for you. You don't need an apology to move on, and you don't need closure to heal. Sometimes the closure is realizing that the peace you wanted from them can only come from you. When you decide to release the anger, the blame, and the constant replaying of the past, you stop giving that moment the power to define you. Letting go is an act of strength. It's saying, I'm done carrying this. Because life gets lighter the moment you do. Emotional freedom isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, one choice at a time. Every moment you decide to stay calm instead of react, to let go instead of hold on, you become stronger. Your peace becomes your superpower. So protect it, guard it, let it guide the way you move through the world, because when no one else can shake your calm, you've already won.